The majority status in the House of Representatives will be determined by 10 or 12 districts. One of them is the California 27th. Mike Garcia is running for re-election there. You know, Mike Garcia, I think I had you on a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you what's interesting about you. You have some members who are slightly to the right of you, some who are to the left of you, and they all respect you, to a man and to a woman. And so I want to say you're in a very tough race. You're up against a left-wing opponent who pretends that they're not a left-wing candidate. They're all doing this. And you're being heavily outspent. Tell us about your district and tell us about yourself and what's going on.
Well, thank you, Mark. That's a huge compliment coming from you and my colleagues. The bottom line is I'm in a district that's not purple. It's actually blue. I'm down to 29% Republican registration within my district. This will be the most expensive race in this cycle. It's been one of the most expensive races in the last 3 cycles. And we continue to hold a seat that on paper, you know, Nancy Pelosi has invested close to $65 million in trying to get, because on paper it does look like a doable do for the far left. And the reality is my voters and my constituents are rational. They may not be Republicans, but they do vote in accordance with their own security interests, and that's what they're supporting in my campaign. And you nailed it right on the head. The opponents continue to try to run as something that they're not. They're being seen as fakers and as someone who, you know, is not representative of the district, and they're being rejected because of that.
You have a military background, do you not?
I do, yeah. I was a former naval aviator, served off of aircraft carriers, flew F-18s for about 14 years, worked at an aerospace company for 11 years after that, and I had no real ambitions of getting into politics. I frankly had no desires to do so. I had never held office before, and in 2018 I saw what happened with that blue wave, and frankly I don't want my country to turn into what California has already become, and I felt like I couldn't just sit on the sidelines anymore. And I'm a big fan of John Adams, and I think the reason I garner the respect of a lot of my colleagues is that I don't do things out of fear. It's very, very much principle-based behavior rather than fear-based behavior. I don't have much respect for either party. I think we need weaker parties and stronger leaders, and I think as long as we continue to vote and run in the interest of the country with solid principles and not compromising our values, but still negotiating and compromising with each other, but not giving up on our core values, we can actually fix this country. And I firmly believe that we have achieved the weaker parties piece of this, and we need stronger leaders at this point.
The California legislature tried to redistrict you out of existence. I thought I remembered that you used to represent the Reagan Library and not anymore. Let me ask you this. Your opponent's name, and what does she stand for, or he?
Yeah, it's a he. This time it's George Whitesides. He stands for the same platform and everything else that, you know, Hakeem Jeffries has been running on, Nancy Pelosi has been running on. They're trying to create a cloak and a facade of something else. He has funded George Gascon, who's the DA in Los Angeles County, who's like the Penguin of Gotham City, actually helping criminals. But now all of a sudden it's election season, and my opponent doesn't support Gascon, right? So they're blowing with the wind, and my race has been extremely tight ever since I've been in office in 2020 in November. After I came in a special election in May, my November election was won by just 333 votes. And that was in a 5-point redder district, meaning making a 5% more Republican. So an extremely tight race, and it will be that way, which is good. I enjoy the competition, makes me better, and we will prevail.
Talking to Mike Garcia, if you want to help Mike Garcia who's running for re-election, electmikegarcia.com. Mr. Producer, let's flop it on our social platforms. Electmikegarcia.com. This is one of the races that everybody's keeping an eye on. It's very, very important in California. And I'm guessing you're being outspent 2-3 to 1 or more, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We'll see the opposition spend anywhere between $20 and $25 million. And obviously now that the Dodgers are going to the World Series, they're going to be running ads during those World Series, which is wild that they can afford that. But we've got the right platform. I've got the right voting record. And again, what matters is that great word, security. It's a great unifying word right now, whether it's national security, border security, neighborhood, school security, protecting Social Security. These are the things that the voters care about, and they can spend all the money in the world and try to wag the dog with the false narratives that they're putting up on these commercials. But the reality is that our voters are paying attention to the issues that they care about, that matter most to them, and this is why we'll still overcome this spending deficit.
How's your ground game look?
Good. We've got one of the best grassroots campaigns in the country. You know, we won Campaign of the Year back in 2020. We've got the same team. We've got 200 to 300 volunteers knocking on doors and making phone calls literally every day. We campaigned for 2 years because it's so close that we don't take anything for granted. And so this isn't a show up 2 months before the election kind of campaign. This is show up 2 years before Election Day, and we continue that constant contact with our voters. But then I also, on the official side, do 4-hour-long town halls. I'm one of the few members that actually still does town halls, and we're averaging close to 4 hours for the last 2 town halls we've had. So constant communication, truly grassroots, and all politics are local. And in California, we've got a lot of challenges, and the voters respect that I get engaged even in local issues.
Sounds exhausting. Because given that your district, I mean, you got guys who run, they got 10-point, 20-point advantage. You have no advantage.
Yeah, and I think if every district was a swing district like mine, we'd have better members of Congress, better challengers, better incumbents, people who care more, that get smarter on the issues, that run harder, that negotiate and compromise, but not their values. It'd be better for the country. And for me, there's nothing, I've been willing to give my life in defense of this beautiful country since the age of 18. So running for Congress every 2 years is challenging, but it's nothing compared to the sacrifice that our military and our law enforcement do every day for us. So I'm more than happy to put it on the line every 2 years, and we're at a very critical time in our nation's history right now.
You're not kidding. I'm talking to Mike Garcia, and if you want to help him, electmikegarcia.com. What is your sense right now? I'm not going to ask you to predict the election, but do you see a trajectory, or who knows?
Yeah, I'm starting to see the momentum shift. I was worried about a month ago. I think the smoke and mirrors have faded a little bit, and the Dem candidates have been seen as what they are. I think the JFK Democrat voters are finding a place with a conservative platform and Republicans, and that's going to make the difference for us here in November.
Well, we wish you all the best. You're a stand-up guy. ElectMikeGarcia.com, folks. If you can help them, please do. ElectMikeGarcia.com. It'll be on all our platforms. God bless you and good luck to you, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. God bless.
You too.